Hello everybody! It is the actual end of the year and I'm going to do the end of the year tag. I've seen a lot of people doing this recently and I don't think I've been tagged, but I wanted to do it. I haven't done any other tags this month, so why not? I'm not entirely sure who created this tag. I think it might have been Ariel Bissett, but I'm having a hard time tracking down the original creator, so we'll go with it. There are just a couple of questions about, I don't know, your reading plans for the end of the year, so let's get into it. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes. This book, The Invisible Valley by Sue Wei. This is like literary fiction, historical fiction. It's very intellectually interesting for the historical context, and it is a superbly translated novel. The translator is Austin Warner, and he did such a magnificent job with this book. Unfortunately, I do not really care about the main character and his story. It's basically this young man, Liu Beiping, coming of age in China during the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s, and he gets forced into a ghost marriage with his foreman's dead daughter, and then kind of gets exiled from the rest of the Ried camp, herding cattle in the backwater. Which is probably the most interesting thing about this book, is that it is really set in backwater China, and this young man encounters a family of drift folk. They're basically a polyamorous family with a matriarch, and he gets pulled into that family and everything, and I just don't care about the character that much. Everything else going on around him, sure, but his story and the whole coming of age thing and starting sexual relations with the woman of the family and everything, I want to love this book because it is so well done, but it's not clicking with me. I'm halfway through it, in fact, but if I don't finish it by the end of the year, I will DNF it and move on. It's not the fault of the book, it's just not probably the right thing for me. Next, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? It's not autumn anymore. In fact, I think yesterday was the winter solstice, so we are definitely in winter and the end of the year now. But no, I don't really pick books for seasonal appropriateness. I don't really think of certain things as being good to read in the autumn or the winter or something. I just tend to go by mood, and yeah. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? Well, there are some books that have come out at the end of the year that I haven't read yet, like Dead Astronauts by Jeff Vandermeer came out in early December, I think. But there's nothing else that I'm waiting for in 2019. I've pretty much moved on to anticipating the 2020 books. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? This one I can answer. I got a copy of The Eye of the Heron by Ursula K. Le Guin. I was reminded that I had read this book many years ago. I saw Muriel from the Purple Bookworm talking about it. I just stumbled across a copy and got it, and I would kind of like to reread it by the end of the year, because when Muriel was talking about it, I didn't recognize anything. I don't remember anything about this book, and obviously Le Guin, yeah. Then I got this little novel, Outside the Gates by Molly Gloss, which was like a debut fantasy novel from the 80s, and I'm very curious, and I think that I could definitely read it by the end of the year because it is so short, and oh yeah, I want to know what this is about. It's blurb by Ursula Le Guin, which, yeah, I'll pretty much read anything that has Le Guin quotes on it. The Rift by Nina Allen, which I got at Worldcon back in August, and have a feeling that once I start it, I will really get stuck into it and it will just fly by. And a 4th one, I know this question asks for 3, but I also kinda want to read More Than Human by Theodore Sturgeon by the end of the year, since I'd been looking forward to getting a copy of it since the beginning of the year. I read a couple of his novels back in like January or February, I think, and this is the one that I really, really want to get to. And once again, it's not super long, so I have a chance of reading it while I'm on Christmas vacation, which is when I try to get a lot of reading done by the end of the year. Will any of those happen? I don't know, tune in later when I do my December wrap-up. We'll see if I actually did it or not. The next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I just looked over all the books I still have on my TBR shelf and some of the books I've checked out from the library, and honestly, I don't think there's any of them that would just become absolute favorites when I read them, or that would shock me by being so good. But I do have Armistice by Laura Elena Donnelly, and I loved the first book, Amberlow. It was actually a favorite of mine in 2017, I think. And if I were to find time to read this by the end of the year, I think it would be pretty high up there. It could be a contender. And the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have. I did a whole video on that, my 2019 reflections and 2020 goals. Mainly, I'm going to start some new reading projects in 2020, and I'm very excited about that. And that was the tag. It was pretty short, not that I had super long answers either, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I need to go bye now because I'm about to run out of battery power. So until tomorrow, guys, bye.